Hey guys, my name is Jason with Mount Baker Mining and Metals, and this video is for all you placer miners out there. I've got some concentrates from Andy Thrax Mining up on Vancouver Island, and what these are is these are the concentrates that he's already run through his little cleanup operation and got as much gold out as he possibly can. And he gave me about 200 or 300 pounds to bring down, run across my shaker table, and see if I can recover any more gold. So let's start this video by watching Andy's cleanup method, and I'll show you what he does to get this product, and then we'll go through, prepare this stuff for the shaker table, and we'll get it run and see if we can find some gold.
All right, there's the rest of the concentrates from Jason's day with me at the mine, and we're gonna wash it in this little wash plant. This is my miniature cleanup trommel, and it's super cool because it runs off one single motor, which runs the water pump, which turns a gear reducer, which rotates the trommel and drives this drive shaft, which jigs this sluice side to side so you can use lower water volumes, as well as that drive shaft comes down here to a tailings auger so that you can dewater your auger. So then you can keep that reservoir of water in there and just fire it up every time you need it. So I'm able to just come home from the mine, set the, clean out the mats, set the tub down in front of it here, and then it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to wash one batch of concentrates. And then see your motors going, and then this is the clutch. The jigging sluice works incredible for just keeping any bigger rocks just toppling so that they move on out. Okay, so I've finished feeding the plant. Now we just shut her down, like so. And you can look in here for any nuggets. Haven't found any yet. You always usually see them in the big sluice box on the mine site, but this is your last place to double check for nuggets. This and the tailings auger and that's all concentrate, pure concentrate from the main sluice. That's what we sent Jason home with. That and the concentrate out of my little teeny cleanup sluice.
Well, the first thing I want to do is screen this down a little bit. It's a little bit coarse to run the shaker table. There's probably some 1/4 inch pieces or maybe 5/16. So I'm going to screen it down to about a 12 mesh screen. So something like that. It's a little bit bigger than window screen maybe, but that's going to get rid of those big rocks. And that way things can concentrate out a lot better on the shaker table. So here's a quick look. This is the oversize. This is the stuff that won't go through the screen. So that's what we're screening off. And then down here in the bucket, this is the nice fine screen stuff that has the gold, if there is any, and that's going to run really nice on the shaker table. Here's the first screened out bucket. It's not quite half and half. There's a little bit more fines, but for screening to such a coarse screen, 12 mesh is really quite coarse. There's a lot of stuff coming out. So we can get rid of all this stuff. We don't have to run on the shaker table and just run this nice fine sand. Whew, well, I'm finished screening that stuff. I've got these top 3 buckets here. It's all the screened out stuff. And then this is the oversized here, probably about 1/3 to 2/3 material. So we'll get this fine stuff. Now we'll take it over and start feeding it on our 4x8 Mount Baker Mining and Metals shaker table. The table is essentially a big gold pan, so it just shakes and the dense material goes to the very bottom of the material bed. The dense material settles in all these grooves, and then it works its way back towards the cleaning plane and down into the #1 concentrates back over here. This 12 mesh minus material is just perfect for the shaker table. It's a beautiful feed. The table can do up to 1/8 of an inch material, but 12 and smaller is better. Once you get up to some coarser stuff, it starts coming across into the #1 because there's not enough water to push it down into the tailings. These grooves are shaped kind of like a check, so it's or a swoosh. It's a very gradual slope down into the groove, and then it hooks back real sharp. And they funnel the gold down over to the cleaning plane. These long grooves carry the densest material up under the water bar. And if there's any gold in this sample, it'll come right down here under the water bar into the number 1 and number 2 concentrates. There's a middling port for placer stuff, probably not important because you're looking for either the gold or everything else is going to go to tailings. And then the number 4, the tailings, is going to flow down here into our tailings pond. Here's our first flake. So there is some gold in there. Now it's hiding under the black sand. But I've overfed it a little bit. I got some black sand coming over into the number 1. But there goes our first flake. The black sand's coming down right into the number 1. Just a little, really just a little band of it. Most of it's going into the number 2 here. Again, I could tune the table a little bit different. But we've got it situated now where all the gold's going to go into the number 1. And then if we need to, we can rerun it on the table to clean it up a little bit more. But it's really working very nice. Now I've stopped the table, and right at the leading edge, there's a band of very, very fine gold coming out of Andy's stuff here. It's working its way right over here, up under the water bar. And as the water's washing the black sand away, you can see the gold just kind of speckled right up here, all across the leading edge. There's this nice band of black sand, but there's also this band of heavier stuff that's lighter in color. Might be galena, might be metallic lead, but it's definitely heavy. It's right at the leading edge. Here comes a couple of gold flakes down. There's a pretty nice sized flake right there, making its way across. Let's watch that and see if that ends up in the number 1. Sometimes these flat flakes kind of get what we call the ball bearing effect, where they kind of ride on top of the sulfides. So sometimes it's hard for them to make their way all the way up under the cleaning plane, but that one's going to come right down into the number 1. There you go, easy. Right there. I'm quite fascinated with this band of gray here, running right down the table. I got a cow magnet here, some stuff stuck to it. See the magnetite react, but that band of gray is not magnetic. So I don't know what that is. I'm really curious about that. If you guys have any idea, let me know. It's not as blue as galena. It's very dense though. It's right up at the head of the water bar. The table has a built-in ramp to it, so it actually goes up starting about right here and ends right here at these long grooves. And all the material in the grooves can go up the hill, but as soon as the grooves stop, the light sand can't go up the hill anymore, and so it goes down, 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 down. The black sand, the magnetite, and the other heavy, dense sands climb the hill in the long grooves. Once they get out of the long groove, they wash back down with the water, and only the densest material, whatever the silver stuff is, gold and a little bit of the black sand, makes its way up to the very top of the table and runs down just a tiny little band into the number 1 concentrates. So at the end here, I'll show you, we will have concentrated, I didn't weigh it, but probably 150 or 200 pounds of sand down into a very manageable, there won't even be a pound of material there. Working very nice. I need to go feed the table some more. This thing, even with the placer cons, or cons tailings in this case, it will process hundreds and hundreds of pounds an hour. You want to be a little more careful when you're processing stuff with a lot of black sand or a lot of dense material like you have here. You want to run a little bit slower, but this will work so much faster than some of the other cleanup tables out there. We've had several customers buy these tables for cleaning up their placer concentrates with really, really good luck. They have recovered a lot more gold out of their concentrate tailings, I guess is what you call them. So we had one customer where they were panning their concentrates from their jigs and sluices, and they were dumping the panning tailings on their road after they had gotten as much gold out of them as they could. And they brought us the sample down from their Alaska property, and in about a 5-gallon bucket we recovered another 1.5 grams of gold. So that year they went up and they were going to go mine their road. It's also a continuous concentrator, so there's no riffles to fill up. It's just constantly cleaning itself, getting the gold off, and then when you stop, you have your bucket of concentrates at the end. The table does a really good job of separating out the heavy, dense material from the waste. So this is running really nice right now. You have all the sand going down into the number 4. There's a band of black sand here, and then right at the leading edge, there's quite a bit of gold. Fine gold, but quite a bit of gold that's going down into the number 1. The table's all brushed down. Got the ports all cleaned out. Here is our number 1 concentrate. It's quite heavy. I was actually quite surprised when I picked it up. So let's go get this processed and see how much gold we can recover. I'm going to pan out our number 1s here. While I do that, I'm going to put up some footage of some past samples we've processed of placer cons, so you can check those out, and I'll be back in a minute. We got a guy coming down that's bringing some concentrates from his Alaska placer operation. He's bringing down about a gallon or so, and he has panned and recovered all the gold out of the sample that he can, and so he wants to run the sample on our shaker table and see if we can recover any more gold out of his concentrates.
What do you think this red is?
That's the garnet. He's been fighting.
That is the stuff that, I mean, this is amazing how that separates that, because it's like it's the same way to gold when you're panning.
When you're panning, it's really hard to get out. Yeah.
This is really neat. Okay,
Yeah.
now this stuff that is coming in here, I see it's fine garnet.
Yep.
Would any of the gold be in that too?
Well, there's a little flake. There's a little flake right there. Now we're gonna watch that and see if it comes out and ends up getting across here. There's 2 grooves at the bottom of the table here. We call them the safety grooves. Here comes that flake. Yeah, right there. So anything that keeps down here with the garnet will end up coming across here in the safety groove. So it should never get down into the number 3. No free gold should never get down into the number 3. Real good showing. Now here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to unplug the table. I'm going to leave the water on, but now it's not shaking, so we can really see what's going on here. So all your gold is coming out this first groove. As soon as it gets off this little sandbar of black sand, it's caught in the groove. It's going to come down this way. There's some other really heavy stuff, the black sand. That might be where your PGMs are. It's coming down with the gold, but by the time it gets down here, it's pretty much all clean gold. A little bit of black sand is going to carry its way down into the number 2. So here's this gold that we recovered from the shaker table. And this was in addition to all the gold that he's already been able to recover by panning. So this was the gold that he actually couldn't recover by panning, and we recovered it on our 4x8 shaker table. So it's actually a really good showing. Out of a gallon of stuff, that's quite a bit of gold recovered. We've got a band of black sand up here on the left at the end of the grooves, and it's working its way down.
Okay, we've brushed down the table now from the rerun jig cons, and this is what came out. And there we can see how fine some of that fine gold is. Right next to a dime there.
Well, I've meticulously panned down the cons here. It's very, very difficult. And there is some fine gold in there. Not very much. There's not enough to weigh. I couldn't sit here and clean it up for another hour and get anything to weigh. So Andy, you did a great job on cleaning up your cons. You're not missing a whole lot of gold in your tailings. So I think your system is working really, really well. Here's a little bit better view. I've panned it back some more. That's all very fine gold right up in there. So there is some really, really fine stuff there. So I think you're doing a great job. What I'd like to do, and I haven't done this in a while, is I've got these cons panned down. I still have no idea what that gray stuff is. So let's smelt it and see if we can get this little bit of gold we have in a little button for Andy, and maybe see if that silver stuff is, that gray stuff is lead or just what it is. So let's mix up some flux. We'll put it in the furnace. Well, I've got our stuff, you know, kind of dried out here, sloppy mess. I've got our flux mixed up. There's some borax, soda ash, and silica in there. I'm just gonna kind of, I don't know, do that. We'll put a lid on it. I'll shake it all up, get it mixed as best I can. We'll put it in a crucible. There, it's all mixed up. I've added some bismuth as a collector metal. I'll get it in that crucible, add some nails, and we'll smelt it. Okay, I've cooled it off with water just to make sure my bismuth collector is solid. Let's see how much bismuth and gold we have at the tip there. Well, it looks like there's no mat. And there's our bead. Now we'll take our 14-gram bead. We're going to put it in our cupel, which is at 1850 degrees Fahrenheit. The base metals are going to melt and oxidize, and the oxides are going to be absorbed by the cupel, leaving just the precious metals behind. Okay, let's have a look at our cupel here. There it is. Hey, there is a little bead in there. Look at that, Andy. Maybe we can measure it. Okay, ready? Nobody sneeze here. Whoop, it wasn't solid. Well, that's something. Yeah, I can pick that up with my fingers. Don't drop it. Oh boy. Oh, got it. All right, let's see if our scale can pick it up here. .024 grams. That's how much you lost, Andy, out of 3 buckets full of 12 mesh minus. Well, Andy, I think you're doing a heck of a job cleaning up your cons. You left hardly any gold in there, so I just keep doing what you're doing. And as a little added bonus, I'm going to add the video that I took when I was up at Andy's place on Vancouver Island working his placer claim right after this, so you guys can get the full story. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Hey guys, my name is Jason with Mount Baker Mining and Metals, and I am standing on millions of dollars worth of gold right now. And on today's video, we're gonna go get some. We're up on Vancouver Island right now. I'm here with Andy Thrax Mining, and we are working his claims. He's got a big excavator. We're feeding a trommel. It's washing down through the sluice, and we're catching all that good, fine, nuggety gold he's got up here. So in today's video, he's gonna let me in the machine. I'm gonna run it a little bit. I am so excited. And be sure to check out Andy's channel. I'll leave a link in the description below, and I'll also leave a link at the end screen so you can check him out. He's doing some really, really cool stuff here and getting a lot of gold.
What we got here is your main feed hopper, and this is a shaking deck. There's offset weights in there, and so you feed the material into the top, and the spray bars are rinsing it and washing it and breaking it up. And then as it comes across the grizzlies, you know, your main 2" minus goes through into the hopper. The big cobble comes off, and it comes off dirty sometimes, but it seems to kind of clean itself while it gets sprayed, and then you just carefully pick up the big boulders. And then so after that, then all of your 2" minus comes into the trommel, where it just gets ground up and chewed up. And it's actually really impressive how well this trommel scrubs, because like most trommels actually have a angle to them to help convey the material through, but this is a flat trommel.
Oh yeah.
And it relies on it, once the volume of gravel inside it builds up, it just naturally forces it out. And that's kind of why we got these flipper paddles, just to get the last 2 feet discharging all the time.
Okay, so
But
they screw out.
That's right.
That
Yeah,
screws
and
out.
they kind of auger and throw the gravel a little ways away, which is nice. But the fact that it's flat allows the gravel to really grind and chew, and that's like really good for getting it off clean. Then everything drops through into this under basin here, and
this is the money part.
that's right.
This is
the
where all
money
the
zone.
magic happens.
The pay zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it all collects there and then is discharged into the sluice. This is 32" wide sluice by 10 feet long, and we're running 500 gallons per minute through the plant.
500 gallons a minute, and that comes out of these 2 pumps across the pond.
That's
here.
right. We need 2 3" gas pumps to supply that water, and with that volume, we can process 30 yards an hour quite comfortably.
Wow. Okay, so we're gonna put the material through this today.
Yeah. Even if we run 60 yards today, it should only take 2 hours.
Wow. So we're gonna move a lot of dirt.
Yeah, for
Do-
sure.
Do you call it muck in the plaster? Hard rock
I
is
always
called
call it dirt,
Okay.
but it's totally not dirt.
Yeah, material.
Material, yeah.
In hard rock we call it muck, but I guess you don't call it muck here. It's called hay.
Pay, yeah. Pay is what you
material.
call it,
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Have a lot of sand and finer material in the top gravels, and then but still gold, and then it's quite gray and almost even a blue hue to the sand. You can kind of tell it's very rinsed, no organics, it's very clean. And then as you go down, it just starts to get more and more mineralized. You'll get rusty red, very deep red, and blacks. It appears to be about ½ gram a yard. I think anything more than $15 a yard, we are doing really well for profitability here. With about ½ gram a cubic yard, when we were washing to between 30 and 50 yards a day, I'm getting ½ ounce a day. Big gold mine standards, that's probably peanuts. But for us, and with the prices of gold right now, that's about $1,300, $1,400 a day. That is just fabulous. It only cost me $100 to $120 each day to get that. Okay, there's Jason's first scoop going in. Like a pro. What an epic day. Such a good day.
It's tricky.
It's so tricky.
I always feel like I'm gonna dump it right on your eccentric there.
Yeah, I know, eh?
Yeah, you gotta just have to use to where it's going.
You got perfect placement right now. That is perfect. Jason from Mount Baker Mining and Metal, my new worker for the day. I only hire extremely experienced people. He's running the plant. It is such a pleasure. I love having help. I never get to walk around and check on everything. He's doing a real good job. We've been sluicing for about an hour now, and I think we got an hour or more left. He's digging into some really nice virgin ground there. All right, so we're mining away. I think we're at about an hour and a half. Jason is doing fantastic. It is just so cool to be here with other people mining. It's so fun. I think one of my favorite parts about Jason is that he's a candy guy like me. So he's literally got milk duds in his pocket while he's sluicing. You see him chewing away on them, and he's just eating caramel chocolates and sluicing. Like, I respect the hell out of that.
We've been running about 2.5 hours. We're just finishing up. I think we're getting really close to the clay layer down there because we're starting to get water in the bottom of our hole. And Andy says that once you start seeing water, you're getting real close to that clay layer. So we're gonna shut down here in a little bit, clean up our sluice box, probably just do the first mat, see what we can get. Well, we've had a little bit of a breakdown here. The excavator is out of commission. Unfortunately, we're not sure what's wrong with it either. Might be a fuel filter.
Maybe the air filter or something. It's done this same thing before.
Yeah.
But it's stuttering and yeah, it won't fire up now. So.
Well, let me show you the hole and where we ended up, and then we'll get this stuff cleaned up. All right, Andy, here's our hole. So how much do you think we moved here today?
It looks like we only maybe, we didn't get that much, did we? Maybe 20 yards or something, 30 yards there?
20, 30 yards, okay.
It's kind of hard to tell, but it really buffs out as you dig it up.
Yeah.
But you can really see the virgin stuff that we're into, and we were just really getting down to that good cream down there.
Right down here, yeah.
At the very bottom, you can see it gets a little grayer, a little more, I don't know what's in it that makes it gray like that.
Yeah, it almost looks more gravelly down there. Maybe that's just the water, but.
Yeah, the water's kind of washing it a bit.
Yeah. And you think you were getting close to bedrock because of this water in the hole here?
I think so. Like the water trickles in around the bottom 2 feet or so. So we were getting close. We should have seen clay if we were down to the bedrock, but we haven't yet. So that's all we can do. We'll clean out and see what we got for gold.
That's where we're at. Cool. Sounds good. We got our first peak here. And I think we see some gold. Right there. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Is that gold?
And in there too, there's a bunch of little pieces.
Oh, nice.
That is a nice little chunk right there.
Is that considered a picker?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, look at there. Nice piece.
Really jagged and not super jagged, but nice and asteroidy. That's what I call it.
I remember seeing that one go in. I think that was my piece.
Oh, yeah. It was on the tip of the scoop.
Yeah, I saw it before it dropped in. Nice. That's a nice piece.
Look at all the flakes coming out right there and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Because of time, we're going to just grab the first mat, you think?
Yeah, let's just pan out the high grade and see what we found. And then I'll do a full cleanup later. And I'll send you the results and show you everything. And I'll film it all so you can get a final weight.
Yeah.
To know what do you mind, you know?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
this.
and then you can just mail it to me when you're ready.
That's right. I'll send out that gold off.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was so fun, man. That was just awesome watching you feed the plants and...
It was so much fun. Thank you so much for letting me do it.
My pleasure.
It was fantastic. Yeah.
It was flawless. You didn't miss a beat. You didn't hit nothing, bump nothing, drop a rock in the wrong place or anything. So that's impressive.
I'm an expert now.
Yeah, that's right. Ready to double down and invest your life.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Into it.
Yeah. No, and that's a nice machine. Like you were saying, other than it's not working right now, but I think it's a fuel pump, fuel filter,
I
something.
avoided routine maintenance for just a little too long.
Yeah.
I think it's been telling me to do the filters for a while.
Like all miners do. That's how miners work.
We get by every day by ignoring a couple things.
Yeah. And they all add up at the end of the year,
That's
and
right.
then
And then they just buck on you.
But man, it's a beautiful little plant. I mean, perfect for one guy, one operator, single operator.
Thank you so much. It's incredibly gratifying to see it run and to feed it like because it could have been the biggest, you know, mess up of my life. Building it and engineering it myself. It's like, for the most part, other than subtle alterations, it hasn't missed a beat for the whole season. That's
Nice.
It's really a good feeling to just see it happen.
And how long have you been working like on this specific project with this machine?
We were totally soaked out during the winter. I was hoping to go through the winter and get a real good head start, but it was just too wet, so I couldn't actually get here till about just the end of April. So
okay.
Basically all of May, June, July. So 3 months, 3.5 months.
Okay.
Solid.
And so you built this over the winter, this machine?
Yeah, last year over the summer of last year, while trying to get a new excavator or a good excavator, and then we were able to get up here as late as October of last year. And we started stripping, but the heavy rain and the snow came, and I just couldn't move the soil around anymore. It was just, I was surrounded in puddles and water, and it was like I was sitting on a little peninsula just surrounded in water. It was just too dangerous and no good for the environment. So we just put it away for 2 months there, December, January, and February, and March, I guess, too. I had to take a real good break that I could have been getting a head start, but that's been a part of the struggle, is I couldn't get back out till mid-April, third week of April or so.
Yeah, okay.
But then we really started hammering it, and we've been pulling out some really good gold. And the thing I tell everybody is, like, for years now I've been talking about gold weight in grams. And it's a really satisfying thing to be able to start talking about it in ounces. How
much you've recovered this summer, and ounces and ounces instead of grams.
I can talk about it in ounces now as opposed to grams. And that's a nice badge on the, you know, on the shoulder for being a miner, because I really am novice, and I'm learning the ropes and taking the lickings along the way. So, well,
you're farther along than 99% of the other guys, you know, that are trying. So I wouldn't call you a novice. This isn't novice stuff, man. Look at it. Look at it.
1,000 miles an hour out here. You just learn face first.
Yeah, right. Face first.
Yeah.
Teeth first.
That's right, yeah. But man, it was an utter pleasure having you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the invite
too. Around here, just your expertise.
Everybody's got an opinion, right? It's as valuable as what it cost you.
It's everybody's got some value to offer, and it's all insight and perspective is great. It's fantastic.
This is it. This is our top mat. I'm getting it washed down, washing all the stuff down into that tub.
Look at that.
Oh, lead.
Lead shot.
Wow.
That'll be from some of the surface stuff.
Yeah.
Found lots of lead here. Like this top 2 feet's just full of lead. Like there was a bullet maker living here or something.
Really? Nice stuff. Very cool. Yes. Love it. Here we go. This is our sluice cons. We're going to start panning it out here. See what we get. Well, there's kind of our first reveal of our first pan.
I'm just going to kind of keep cleaning stuff up as.
Sure.
I'll come help you, but I'll try to put everything away first.
Here's our snuffer bottle. This is everything from that first mat. Andy and I panned this out. We've got 3 more mats, but I just don't have enough time to get them all clean. So let's see what we got here. Look at that. Always nice to see gold in the pan. So what do you think there? Is that, how much would you estimate that is? And I was telling everybody, this is just the first mat. We've got 3 more to clean out.
It is looking, that's probably 5 grams, maybe 7 grams or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe not quite.
Well, if it's 5 grams at, what is it Canadian? $75 a gram? $80 a gram?
82 bucks a gram right now,
okay.
I think.
That's $400 worth.
Yep, not bad. When we only really, we weren't feeding like full tilt. We were messing around with the machine, and it was doing some things. And
you had a new operator?
And just like, filming and getting the shots. We probably didn't put that much through.
Yeah.
So definitely really nice to see that. And,
And we didn't make it to bedrock either.
That's right. We were just kind of getting
going.
Started,
and then we didn't quite, we lost our machine there.
And then that's actually the nugget trap as well, which we could have added into that. But
yeah, that could get added in. So another, what, 0.2, 0.3 grams there.
yeah.
So nice. Not a bad little day. And I don't know what we got left in those other mats. That'll be interesting to see if you clean them up separate. Well, that's it for us today. We had a great day. I had a lot of fun here with Andy, running his excavator, feeding his wash plant. We got some really nice gold. I'm going to let Andy clean up the rest of the stuff, and he's going to send me some film and some footage with the final amounts from our day one of cleaning.
Here it goes. This is just what's out of the first mat that we cleaned up there. There it is, 5.6 grams. All right, there's the rest of the concentrates from Jason's day with me at the mine, and we're gonna wash it in this little wash plant. This is my miniature cleanup trommel, and it's super cool because it runs off one single motor, which runs the water pump, which turns a gear reducer, which rotates the trommel and drives this drive shaft, which jigs this sluice side to side so you can use lower water volumes, as well as that drive shaft comes down here to a tailings auger so that you can dewater your auger. So then you can keep that reservoir of water in there and just fire it up every time you need it. So I'm able to just come home from the mine, set the, clean out the mats, set the tub down in front of it here, and then it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to wash one batch of concentrates. And then see your motor's going, and then this is the clutch. Jigging sluice works incredible for just keeping any bigger rocks just toppling so that they move on out. Okay, so I've finished feeding the plant. Now we just shut her down, like so. And you can look in here for any nuggets. Haven't found any yet. You always usually see them in the big sluice box on the mine site, but this is your last place to double check for nuggets. This and the tailings auger and that's all concentrate, pure concentrate from the main sluice. That's what we sent Jason home with. That and the concentrate out of my little teeny cleanup sluice. All right, I fed it all through. Okay, there's what's left. That's what got past the first mat that Jason and I panned together on the mine. I'll weigh it up after it's dry. It's nice though, it goes to show that first mat really does catch a lot. This is the gold that got past so 0.4, and we'll add that to the 5.66 that he got. Brings us up to 6 grams, just over 6 grams exactly. And we, you know, all in all, barely mined any ground at all. It was just a good fun day. I think we were running for around 2 hours, I can't remember, but we had a lot of messing around to do, and it was kind of slow digging. So there it is, Jason. Thanks so much for coming out. We mined 6 grams together, and I had a ton of fun.
This is going to be part one of a two-part series. Andy's going to give me some of his concentrates that he's cleaned up in the past, but there still might be some gold in them. And so I'm going to take that stuff back to my shop, run it through my shaker table, and see if I can recover any more fine gold from Andy.
I just want to thank Jason so much for coming, man. Thank you. It was just the funnest day ever, just feeding the plant with you and showing you some of the gold that we're getting here. And you're welcome back anytime, man.
Awesome, cool. Well, thank you. I had a blast. It's really fun to see a placer operation. I don't get to spend a lot of time on placer ground, so this was super, super cool. Thank you for having us out. And be sure, viewers, to check out Andy's channel. I'll leave a link down below and an end screen here so you can check it out. But be sure to check out his stuff because he's got a lot more videos, finding a lot more gold, and running his wash plant. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.